This thing on, checking my mic. Can you hear me? I'm told you can. Great. Welcome to the morning show, everybody, here on Stock Market TV. Spencer, JC, Steve with you on this fine spring Monday morning. Hope you all had a great holiday weekend. Those who celebrate with the Easter and the eggs and the hunting. But we're back, so let's do it. What are we talking about today? We're talking about markets, as we always do. I want to talk about Bitcoin. I was watching Bitcoin a little bit yesterday, and it's interesting me here. It's interesting me. So we'll talk about that perhaps. But I don't know what's on Steve's mind. I don't know what's on JC's mind. We'll have to find out. We'll have Mr. Sam Gatlin stop by the show at 9. He's been doing some great work with the Beat Report. We are, of course, coming into earnings season, which is when Beat Report is the most relevant. So we'll talk about that with Sam at 9. Kenny Glick is back from his ayahuasca sheep retreat thing. I don't really know, but we'll find out what he was up to last week. And that's what we'll do. So good morning, chat. Everyone in there. Good to see you. Let's go.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Steve. How are you, sir?
Hey, guys. Happy Monday.
Why do you always look like you're about to go play golf?
I'm not.
Is that like a Connecticut thing?
I just like to look good.
Is that what you call that, looking good? I have something. This is really interesting, okay? My understanding now, after this AI revolution, we are in the thick of things in the AI revolution, which is why tech stocks keep underperforming, right? So we're in this AI revolution, and I was taught that you want to be nice to the machines, so when the machines take over, they remember that you were nice to them, right? Like please and thank you. So as it turns out,
I don't know where you got this idea from.
Hold on. As it turns out, over 2/3 of AI users are incredibly polite to their AI, and it's costing them tens of millions of dollars just having to deal with polite people. So that was wow.
What are we referring to, Spencer? It's hard to tell sometimes.
I don't know,
like
but
AI, AI stuff, like ChatGPT, and then you got the Gemini, and all the kids are on the AI these days, right? So I'm just I try to be a nice person. So I say please and thank you to the robots, and as it turns out, that's not how to do it. You don't want to say please and thank you. It's costing them too much money.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's like talking to a lawyer.
What's the OpenAI guy? What's his name?
Sam Altman.
That guy came out and he said that, he's like, it's costing us tens of millions of dollars, the politeness. 2/3 of users are very polite with their machines. I'm one of those. Are you polite?
Funny. That's actually pretty funny.
Do you say, can I please have this? Like, do you say that? It's like, fuck you, robot. Give me my shit. How do you talk to the robot?
When I have conviction in what I'm asking, I'm not polite. But when I don't really know what I'm asking and I kind of wanted to do more of the work for me, I will say I have said please before. That's weird. Why do I do that?
I think you're just a nice person, as am I. I think we're just used to talking that way, so we talk to the machines that way, and it's costing tens of millions of dollars, and we're going to run out of electricity because people are being too polite.
I usually say please give me or whatever. Did you see the robots ran the marathon in China over the weekend?
I did see that. Yeah. Dude, these robots are killing it these days, man. Yeah. It's the humans that are struggling. The robots are crushing it.
That's right.
Yeah. All right.
All right. I suppose. I don't know.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the Dow futures this morning down 337 points. That's almost a full percent to the downside, just below 39,000. S&P 500 futures down a full percent, close to 60 handles, 52.25, with the NASDAQ leading the way to the downside, 1.4% down for the NASDAQ 100 futures. 30-year bond futures getting the crap kicked out of them, down a full percent, back to 113.5. Crude oil down 2.4%. 62.5. Copper up 0.75%. 477. That's 4 cents to the upside for copper. Gold, on the other hand, 2.6% to the upside. New all-time highs above 3,400 for gold. Wow. Silver up 1.7% above 33, with the VIX up to 32 over in funny money land. We've got Bitcoin absolutely ripping this morning, 87,250. We are up on Bitcoin this morning officially 2.4%. You got the Ethereum 1630 up 2.6%. You got the Solana, ton of relative strength there. Not this morning, 139 up 0.2%, with the total crypto market cap, Mr. Spencer Israel, 2.7 trillion for total crypto market cap. How do we feel about this morning's futures, ladies and gentlemen?
MicroStrategy just put out a press release that they acquired over 6,500 Bitcoins between April 14th and 20th.
It's a lot of Bitcoin.
Stocks 3.25 right now, 2.4%. That's the big level. If you want to start out there, because Strazza just literally just dove right in, which I don't mind at all. If you could throw up slide 10, please, if you will, my good man. Steve Strazza coming in hot with the MicroStrategy news.
Average price.
Heard, MicroStrategy is buying Bitcoin. Not sure if you people heard.
They paid an average price of 84,750.
All right, so there are a few points in the money there. You know, 3.25 is a big one for me. That's my level. I'm not gonna lie, started front running a little bit on Friday. You know, one of those. Sorry, not Friday, Thursday. One of those like 3:45 p.m. Orders. You know, Strazza is intimately familiar with that sort of behavior.
Absolutely, that's a good time to make decisions and execute them in the market. Actually, I'm in too, man. I'm playing it maybe a little bit differently. I wrote about the Ripple and Solana last week, and I am in a vast number of equity and equity derivative positions that are very much linked to Bitcoin.
Like the Coinbase,
Mara, MicroStrategy calls, Mara calls, MST. I mean, there's a lot going on.
So welcome to the old man universe, Steve Strazza. As you mature, us old men, we call companies by the names that they used to be. So you are now doing that. You are calling it MicroStrategy because that's an old man thing, by the way. I do that, full disclosure, but you don't like it when I young kids you, right? But now you're acting like the old man. So you're one of us.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'm a never XYZ person, never Meta, never, what do they call it? Alphabet? I don't even says that.
It used to be Square.
Imagine taking a brand as powerful as Google, and saying, we don't want it. We're Alphabet. What is wrong with these people?
That's some dumb shit. That's some dumb shit right there. Yeah, and then the XYZ and the Block and the Square, they're changing their names too many times. There's got to be a limit. How many times each decade you're allowed to change your name?
Like every time Jack Dorsey takes an acid trip, we get a new name here. It's absolutely bonkers.
That's not too far off. Not too far off.
Worse and worse.
Yeah. You know, the true OGs, this was before my time, but you know the guy's an OG when he calls it Citicorp. You know, like when they call it Citicorp, that's how you know the guy's been around. You know what I'm saying? Like that's too old for me.
I don't know that. Yeah, I wasn't there for that.
I wasn't there for that, but you hear it. Citicorp, like the older, you know, the more mature fellas and ladies.
Always been a group guy, Citigroup. You know,
always been a group guy too. Yeah, I was there when the joke was that the ATM fee for Citigroup was worth more than the price of the stock. I remember that. That was a good one. Yeah, that was good. A lot of reverse splits since then, huh, Citi?
So look, I mean, you broke it down. There's not much going on outside of gold elsewhere, but crypto.
Hold on, can we throw up slide 8, please? Shout out slide 8. Gold, man. Gold. Man. In the old days, I used to be a gold bug. I was a gold bug in the 2000s. The kids these days, they haven't seen gold do this, right? Strazza, as somebody who has never seen gold do this until the last couple of years, how's it feel?
It's interesting, but it's also worth noting that gold is not performing this well in any other currency because of the currency situation that's going on.
Ooh, hold on. Are you Are you denominating me here now? Are you?
This is no, but what I will say is that gold, clear as day, is the best evidence of this United States capital flight situation that we have. Because it's rising in US dollars. It's not rising nearly as much in euro, pound, yen, anything else.
Well, the dollar's getting absolutely destroyed. So
because money is leaving, JC. Money is leaving.
What happened to the What happened to the envy of the world? I feels like just yesterday. Envy of the world.
You know, I look at charts like this, the stuff in gold and other currencies, and it sure seems to me like the stuff on the news might be at least somewhat true.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't even know how to find the news. Like, is there like a website? Like, do you go to like news.com or something? Do you can you throw up a slide 9, please, if you will, my good man? This is silver. So this is the poor man's gold, right? And I don't know, looks pretty damn good to me. Looks like former resistance turning into support. Am I crazy?
I'm getting tired of silver.
Like tired of this chop that we've had since last year?
Yeah, what's taking so long? Look more like gold already. I'm losing my patience.
You know how how we say like silver is like gold's crazy little cousin?
Yeah.
Well,
acting like it.
It's acting like it, right? Well, you know, you get what you get what you pay for in life. If you want to be a cheap bastard and buy silver, well, then here's what you get, right? If you want to pony up and sit first class and you own the gold, well, you know, you get rewarded for that sort of thing, right?
JC, do you find yourself thinking more and more about heating oil these days and gasoline?
Do I find myself thinking about heating oil and gasoline? Not really. No, should I be?
I don't know. They won't break down.
They won't break down. This is true.
They held support, unlike crude. And then we had a pretty wild week from energy last week. There's a potential scoop and score setup there in crude oil.
Well,
I'm interested.
You know, they're selling them off this morning. You don't buy it, or you are buying it, essentially.
We'll see.
All right. Can you throw up slide 5 there, please, Mr. Spencer Israel? You know, United States. You talk about the United States money leaving the U.S., the dollar, the stock market, and then I look something like Germany, which I would consider outside of the United States the most important stock market index on the planet. Former resistance turning into support. What do you think?
Europe looks so good. That's what I think. This European financials, France, you could throw up the large international diversified indexes. There are just some of the biggest bases that we have right now are in this region of the world.
And do you like big bases?
Yeah. Yes. And also,
can you lie about no?
And also the currency, the Forex markets are also, I think, telling us in a big way lately, you want to go over there, right? And be out of dollars as much as you can.
What about Africa? Slide 6 there, please, if you will. My
oh,
good
you're
man.
funny.
This one, this chart right here, Strazza. How many times have you and I discussed this exact pattern over the last several years?
I'll buy this.
Also, now you like Africa. Before, I was like cherry picking, like, you know, what would you call them? Like exotic ETFs. And now all of a sudden, oh shit, I'll buy that.
Speaking of, I want to just give a shout out to my friend Josh at Exotic and Aquatic in Stuart, Florida. If you are in the market for a rare reptile, you might think maybe it's a gray area. Can I even own this? Is it legal? Reach out to Josh. He'll take good care of you. What a place.
Spencer, are you hearing this? This is so Florida, man. What's happening right now? He's giving shout outs to reptile salesmen. Like, this is what's happening. This is like the most Florida man shit I've heard. Damn, Strazza, you've been down there too long.
Exotic and Aquatic. It's a good name.
It is a great name. Shout out to the Florida man. Shout out. Wow, that is.
Wouldn't you think you'd get a little more juice?
How many reptile salesmen do you got in New Jersey, Spencer? Not many.
I wouldn't even know. I guess I would look on Google, but I have no idea. 0.
No, reptiles are dope. I convinced my kids that like lizards and like turtles are like dinosaurs' cousins, which is not that far off, right?
Right.
And they love it because they understand who their cousins are. So they're like, oh shit, that lizard's a T-Rex's cousin.
I'm going to get the boys, when they get a little bit older, we're going to get them in Egyptian Euromastics. Look that up.
Yeah,
That's what I want.
Morgan's gonna get that and throw it at you. Is what she's gonna do. That's what's gonna happen there. I want to give a shout out to Jonathan, who was in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania this weekend. Fun fact about Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania: there is a famous mansion there, and Walt Disney World's Haunted Mansion is a replica of the mansion that is in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania. Fun fact.
The town is called Jim Thorpe.
Yup, it was named after the Native American.
But he is not from there.
Oh.
No. It was named after him, but he's not from there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was very controversial at the time. He's actually Native American. He's not pretending like certain senators in certain states.
Always bringing it back. Yeah,
not Pocahontas. Actually is Native American. One of the great Olympians of all time.
You know,
shout out Jim Thorpe.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, so we got to figure out what's in this AFK though, JC, because I would expect a little more beta, from Van Eck, Africa. It went from like 13 to 16.
I just want you to know, Strazza, this is seriously from the bottom of my heart. What? I love how interested you are in the Africa ETF. You know how much that warms my heart.
No, you have to be careful
like you're taking this chief strategist role very seriously, and I respect it.
In all seriousness, I started moving out of the U.S. late last summer and moving more and more overweight international positions, China, but other things too. Probably didn't do as much Europe as I should have in hindsight.
All right, you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for the breakdown?
But yeah, I'm looking through all the holdings, and the problem is, especially like some of these Southeast Asia ones, like the biggest holding will be some telecom stock that never moves, and it takes up 10-15% of the ETF. And I'm like, I want some juice. Give me some, crappy local banks or something.
Hold on, they got those. Actually, 33.7% financial services, which if they are in Africa, my suspicion is they are crappy and local. Can you believe that there is 0% technology in the Africa ETF?
Oh, really?
I would say I actually did see that one coming. I did see that one coming. Basic materials, 30%. 30% basic materials. So they got a lot of rocks in Africa, right? Good. A lot of rocks, 30%. It's almost as much as the financials. And then that's pretty much it. You got some communication services. I've never heard of any. Oh, Barrick Gold, I guess they're South Africa, right? Ivanhoe, I know that one. Make My Trip Limited. Okay, I see what they got going on there.
They got the MMYT in there?
They got the MMYT in there, yep.
Wow.
So there must be a lot of Indian tourism down to Africa, which I suppose that makes sense. They got a lot of Indians in India.
I would love to do a safari. You hearing about this? You hearing more about this?
I would love to, man. I would love to. You don't have any kids, so I would encourage you to go before you have those.
Big trip, though.
It's not close. It's not close.
Big trip. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty far, Africa. Yeah. But I would go, man. Good golf, I hear, too.
Does the Egypt ETF still exist? Is that still around?
You could be playing golf, and you could just, hit like a lion or like a rhinoceros. The hippopotamus is literally jumping out of the pond and getting your ball,
You pay extra for that, though.
I think you do, actually. I think you do. I think you need to have armed security guards while you play golf.
Kind
of wild.
So they did take away Egypt. JC, do you remember when they stole Egypt from us? What was it? It was the EGPT.
EGPT. You and I were the only folks looking at that. Believe it or not.
Right. So that is gone.
No, because once or twice a year, there'd be a 2-week span where that was the best performer. And then it would shit the bed every other week.
Well, it's one of those beta trades where it's the best, and then when it's not the best, it's the worst.
Right.
Easy A working on a similar base, but it doesn't look as spicy as Africa.
It doesn't look as spicy.
No. Nope.
I got to tell you, in Disney World, maybe the best restaurant in all of Disney is in Africa, in the Animal Kingdom resort. The Africa restaurant, fantastic, excellent cuisine there.
I'm probably not too familiar with that kind of food.
Yeah, you are. It's like Caribbean food. They put peanuts in it. So you have rice, you have your protein, and then nuts, and it's spicy, and then it's awesome, dude. It's so good.
I like when Thailand does things with the peanuts.
Dude, I'm into the nuts in the food. I'm not gonna. Cubans don't do that shit. But I'm into it. The Italians don't do that either. Jews don't do that, right? You guys don't
careful
do that.
Now. Italians, if you ever have a beet salad, they're going to roast you some beets. They're going to roast you some goat cheese with it, and they're going to sprinkle some pistachio love on top with a
Yeah, I
little
like that. I like that. Yeah.
Since we're on the topic of nuts, I
pesto is pine
continued my nut adventures this weekend, and I tried for the first time in my life Nutella.
Ooh, and
I didn't die.
not
So
bad.
We're all good.
Nutella,
Hazelnuts on the
Chicken
menu.
Good.
Shout out to Nutella. That's Italian, right?
Yeah, my brother loves Nutella. Yep.
Who doesn't love Nutella? Well, welcome to the world of Nutella, Spencer. We're happy to have you. It's delicious.
And apparently hazelnut more broadly. So hazelnut coffee, hazelnut.
Oh yeah,
whatever.
PJ bringing up the hazelnut coffee, not so good.
PJ
bringing up pine nuts. Pine nuts, a key ingredient in
not
pesto.
Are they actually a nut though? They're not a nut. They're legume. They're legume.
Legume. Yeah, they're a legume.
I will say
expensive too. They're mad expensive. The pine nuts.
You know where I do like
nut right there.
You know where I do like some Nutella?
In your morning toast?
Stuffed inside a beignet.
All right. Sounds great.
Can you throw up one more chart?
Well, yeah. Since we were talking about Africa, I want to bring this up because this was sent out this morning to the ETF power rankings, and I thought it was relevant, right? So Argentina leading the way, Poland, Spain, Greece.
Can I request a horizontal version of this?
You can do whatever you want.
Right, Strazza? Can you second this motion?
I can't see anything. We got to divide it and separate it into 2 columns.
Yeah, 2 columns. We got a horizontal this, right? In the chat, can I get anybody want to confirm? How does it work with the motions? I raise a motion, you second it, and someone needs to confirm? How does that work?
No. You bring forth a motion, someone seconds, then you have to call the motion.
No.
Right? Yes.
No, this is America. He's the executive branch. He just does whatever the hell he
wants. Don't question me on Robert's Rules of Order, okay? Please.
Who's Robert?
Someone in the chat knows what I'm talking about. You bring forth a motion. There is a second. Then you have to call the motion. Then you call for any dissents. Are there any dissents? Any dissents? No. Okay.
Going once, going twice.
The motion. The motion passes. The motion passes. That's how it works.
Yeah, you're good at this. Are you like in like random committees? Like how does this?
He was definitely like student council president.
In a past life,
council secretary.
I was not
regional secretary.
No, but in something similar to that in a past life. Let's move on. So what's on slide 6?
Can we throw up the Palantir? So Strazza with a nice quick double on the Palantir. Can you walk us through this? Because that's got 123 written all over it, no?
This was like a broader market call. We looked through our positions and we said, we nailed it by being out of the US and short in a good way in March, but then we were like, now we got nothing, so it's time to get long again. I said, if the broader market bounces, if US growth gets back on track and rips higher, what is the best vehicle? And we looked through a bunch. Netflix was in that conversation due to the relative strength, but it was really Palantir and everybody else. So we got long, and I think it took a day and a half for the double, and now it's like, let's see, because it's a free ticket now. Gives us some long exposure if we do rock higher this week, but market doesn't look like it's agreeing so far.
So you got nothing to lose here and everything to gain. About a month till expiration or longer?
We hit the Mays, so we have less. We got like 2 weeks. We went real short because we wanted that double with speed. We want to be in and out. We want to get that double as quick as we could. So we actually, I think this was the shortest time frame trade that we've ever put on.
Oh, wow. Yeah. All right.
We got like a week and a half left. 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Almost like if you're adapting to what the market gives you.
Yeah, we do a lot of that. You have to.
Yeah. No, I agree.
You have to.
All right. Shout out Palantir.
All right. Speaking of Palantir, Steve talked about that on Friday in the live stream. If you missed it because we didn't do a show, I just dropped the link in the chat, but it is also on YouTube on our channel. And
we also talked a lot about that Brazil theme, and I think I like it even more. I like it more and more every passing day. Brazil was a big Friday. It's up again pre-market here. You look at something like STNE. This is a beautiful base that printed during the volatility that's gone on this year. This guy's printing a reversal pattern. You're seeing a lot of that in these Brazilian ADRs. So I think it's super interesting, and it's all going to come down to the real, and we're right there with a big wick here this morning. If we pop back into 18s on real, not even 178, go time. Those are going to be some of the best vehicles in this market.
Dude, these foreign currencies are ripping. You see your krona today? Steve Strazza, very long, the Swedish krona.
Yeah, so that's the EWD. It's how I'm expressing that. And I haven't seen a currency chart look as good as the krona in many, many years.
Dude, how about new 3-year highs in the Polish zloty?
That's awesome.
New 10-year highs in Swissy. New 3-year highs in euro. Shout out the Malaysian ringgit hitting new 6-month highs.
Let me say though, at a certain point, if the dollar's getting crushed out here day in and day out, it's not good for risk assets.
British pounds hitting new highs.
Well, Spencer, that can be counterintuitive because a lot of times we're up here talking with our intermarket hats on. We're saying, oh, lower dollars. Look, imagine what a lower dollar would do for risk assets. Typically, it's a good thing, right? An orderly downtrend in the US dollar, the rest of the world doing better and better, gaining on us from a currency perspective, usually a good thing for global assets, global risk assets around the world. When the dollar is getting absolutely slaughtered and collapsing out here, and every currency around the world is crushing it, then it's probably not a good thing. Probably not a good thing for anybody either.
Yep.
Is this the orange man's fault?
I have I really don't even have an opinion on it.
Really? Okay. I clearly have no idea. So, but my understanding is that it is. Everything is his fault.
Everyone,
Spencer, you follow the news.
Every American you'll talk to has an opinion on the trade war, as if they know anything about it.
Yeah.
A lot of trade war experts.
I don't even want to get involved.
This is the most detailed situation that us stupid Americans have ever felt that we had to be involved in politically. The fact that everyone has an opinion on this is crazy because 99.9% of people are talking out of their ass and know nothing about it. So yeah. I'm not going to come on here and even say I'm rooting for America. Yeah. I hope that we rewrite the global trade situation in a way that's more beneficial and favorable for us. That would be great. Let's wait and see because I don't know. I'm not some sort of trade war academic.
Yeah. All right.
Thank God. Can you imagine? Imagine if this is your moment because you've been a trade war academic your whole career. You probably broke.
Like you can, Spencer, right? You can at least like specialize in global trade policy and stuff in business school or economic school. That's a thing.
Of course it is. Yeah.
There's people out there who this is their thing.
There are people out there who pay tuition for that sort of thing. That's a life. That's a long life of misery.
See, Harvard's in trouble. Now that I do have an opinion on.
Harvard?
Great.
Fuck them.
Okay, wonderful.
Hold their status.
All right, I'm bringing on Kenny here. Let's see what he's trading today.
All right.
It's been a long time coming. They ain't cuffing my club, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Hold up. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Kenny Glick in the house.
Can you repeat what was that shout out? Malaysian what?
Ringgit.
Malaysian ringgit.
Oh, okay. There's a phrase I never heard before.
Dude, you know what these guys did
Shout
in
out
Malaysia,
to it.
bro?
Right.
Let me tell you something about Malaysia. Here I am in Kuala Lumpur, minding my own business, Cuban kid from Miami in Malaysia, fish out of water. You know where these guys took me for dinner? They took me to go get pizza.
Okay.
Dude,
I thought you were going to go somewhere completely different with this conversation.
They took me to go get pizza. I'm like, yo, I came all the way from New York. You're taking me for pizza? And they're like, oh, I thought that's what you guys eat. I'm like, oh, my God, you're killing me, Smalls.
And how was the Malaysian? How was the Malaysian pizza?
Not as bad as you think. I mean, it was pretty terrible, but like I would have thought it'd be even worse than it was. So shout out Malaysian pizza.
All right, cool,
you
man.
Believe that? That's where they took me.
That's funny.
True story. A lovely town there, Kuala Lumpur. You could stay at like a 5-star resort for like next to nothing. It's pretty great.
For $4.
A little more than that, but yeah, it's good.
Anyway, Kenny.
Mr. Kenny Glick, were you Alaska? What's it called?
But we did hang with a lot of lambs and sheep, which was awesome because we were the only adults there without kids. So our wives pretended that we were the kids, and we were just it was a great time. Actually,
was it like a spiritual retreat? Is that what it was?
There was yoga involved. We actually did hug trees. We got to know some flowers. We walked by the riverbank, and it was chill, but it was Michelin restaurant attached to this place. So every night it was a whole extravaganza of food. So
Now we're talking.
What state was this in?
this was upstate New York.
Okay.
I forgot the name of the place now because my wife did it all. But it's like a little, each person gets a little tiny house, I guess, like 400 square feet. And you just live in your little cabin. And then you had this beautiful restaurant, little lounge downstairs, and a lot of nature walks and yoga. Yeah, and hanging with goats and sheep and lamb.
And then you eat them for dinner.
No lamb for dinner, but they did have the lamb in the fridge. I was like, really, dude? Come on. Got to make it more subtle. It was more of a goat. It was more of a milk yogurt place, but it was good stuff. Good time. Chill out.
Kenny Glick, we got the NASDAQ leading the way to the downside. We looking for a faux show, bro, for a mean reversion up here?
Well, I got to tell you, Netflix tried to save the market Thursday night, and it's not coming to the rescue right now. But we're putting up a fight right now. So anything below that 443.14 area is still bearish for right now for me. But if we're going to fight back today, we're right on the brink of putting up a fight. 438.50 on the Qs. But if we're not above 443, that area, I still think we've got some issues going forward. But tomorrow night, we have Tesla earnings. So I'm going right back to, staying focused. And tomorrow morning, we have a huge list. We got Raytheon and, companies like that. Verizon's coming out, Kimberly-Clark. So I'm going to be right. I'm going to just focus on these earnings reports, playing the gaps. And I'm actually curious to see some of these stocks that stay open 24 hours, how the gap is going to be affected on these earnings reports. So I'm interested. So it's a little bit different of an environment when some of these stocks are open all night and they get to adjust to the reports. But I still think you're going to get that massive activity at the beginning of the day. But, we're starting. This is it. Starting tonight, starting tomorrow night. Actually, tonight's not much, but tomorrow morning, big time. We got a big time list coming in. And then, right into Tesla, and then it'll be right back to the QQQ. So
many industrials tomorrow. Industrials Tuesday. You got 3M, GE, Raytheon. There we go. There's our old manness coming out there. It's called RTX now. They changed the name, no longer Raytheon. Lockheed Martin also reporting. Northrop Grumman reporting. So many industrials. And then Thursday, you got the Goog, right? Thursday,
yeah.
Google.
Well, you got Tesla Tuesday night.
But is Tesla going to move with earnings? Does it move with earnings? No.
Yeah, sure. We had a great couple of trades while we were sitting there at your event back 3 months ago.
And that was earnings. That was earnings related.
That was earnings related. Yeah, they reported earnings the night before or the morning of. I forgot whatever it was. But you got some solars. You got Intuitive Surgery. But Tesla's going to start us off. I mean, Netflix started us off, and if Tesla can hang in there, we'll see. We start building this base. Above 420, below 443 on the Qs. That's the new zone right now. So below 420, we got some issues on the Qs. But right now above 420, but below 443, that's this new range that we're going to have to put up a fight. And if we're going to start rallying again. But again, that doesn't really matter too much to me. There's so much activity going on underneath that staying focused on the earnings reports is where it's at.
How do you feel about 420 landing on Easter this year?
Well. I didn't get high with the Easter Bunny, but I waited till later on. But 420, a lot of stuff's going on. It was a big Passover, and Easter and 420 all landed on the one day or 1 week. So
it was the yesterday was the 5-year anniversary, Mr. Spencer. If you want to throw up slide 2, 5-year anniversary of crude oil trading below zero.
I remember that night.
Crude oil trading below zero. Spencer, if you want to show the folks, some people we're not around. Crude oil was actually trading, I think it was $37, negative $37. That was.
Yeah. Never forget that it happened on 420. Never forget that. But that was a wild day.
Yeah, that's funny. I remember being with Hirsch at a conference somewhere. And I think it was like a couple days after Tom Hanks said he had COVID and the whole world blew up.
Yeah.
Right, Tom Hanks night. That was pretty crazy. I think it was like next day or maybe 2 days later. You know what also was the anniversary of April 19th, 1943, kids? You know what that is? A young Albert Hoffman was on his on his bike experimenting with chemicals, and suddenly he started feeling this tingly sensation, and then he was in another dimension. April 19th, 1943, Albert Hoffman discovered LSD. I'll leave you with that one.
Is that so?
It is.
All right.
The more you know.
More you know. Now you know. But listen, the Qs, and you want some crazy ones this here. So you UPXI, and I got one from the old days, Sunshine Biopharma for you, SBFM. So keep an eye on SBFM. This one rips every once in a while. Hertz was a nice, interesting pick the other day. Woke up out of the dead. We saw that with 385. Turned out to go to 8. So these crazy ones underneath. Melgo's back on the radar this morning. But take a look at SBFM. We've had some fun with this one in the past, and the UPXI moving all over the place. So there's always those 5 every morning. And shout out LSD, my man.
Wonderful.
All right, be careful out there. We'll be
right.
back tomorrow. We're gonna get this whole thing started. There's gonna be very specifics, and I'm gonna be on the air probably for 12 hours a day.
Kenny's going live tomorrow afternoon as well. We'll be sending emails out about it, so keep an eye out for that.
Some say.
Yeah. All right. Some say. See you, Kenny.
Bye, bro.
All right. You know what else happened on April 19th, JC? The U.S. went off the gold standard in 1933.
The U.S. went off the gold standard in 1971.
It was 1933 that this was a Depression era policy. It wasn't like a permanent thing. It was, I believe, it was for the Depression, and then they went back on it, and then they went off it again, I think.
Since we're on the 5-year anniversary, I thought this was a great explanation on how crude oil traded below zero. I forget who wrote this, but it was a great explanation. You guys ready? You want to bring in Strazza for this one? Strazza.
It's a very simple explanation. I mean, but you explain it to me.
I'll explain it to you. So imagine the following. You pay $500 today and commit to receiving an escort at your house in 15 days because your wife is traveling and away for
This is great.
Yeah.
Listen up, everybody.
Futures contract, right? So an escort at your house 15 days from now because your wife is traveling and away for a few days, called the futures contract. Unfortunately, lockdown comes and your wife will now be home for the next 60 days. You obviously do not want this woman to show up at your house at all and try to pass this futures contract onto someone else. Only you cannot sell this commitment because nobody can receive the escort at home anymore because everyone's wife is home. Everyone is in full storage with wife. So to make matters worse, not even the pimp, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, has any more room to receive the girls because his house is crowded with girls. So you will pay anyone just to take the girl off your hands. Do you now understand why oil has a negative price when the contract is delivered?
Because normally you would get paid for the escort, right? If you wanted to trade it with somebody, right? You would receive payment. But now you're the one that's offering to pay. You are that desperate. You're saying, here, take my escort and my money. Just take them both.
Just no, can't have that here.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, I'll pay you.
Yeah.
To take her.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right. She just can't come here.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know who wrote that. So I like to give credit where credit is due. And in this case, I cannot. But I thought that was a good, and especially when they explained that the pimp was the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, I thought that was good. Nice added touch there.
I bought the stock when I heard that.
Yeah.
Great. All right. We got Sam Gatlin in the house. Should we bring it? It's been a while since we've had Sam on the show. Let's bring him out.
Cool. Sammy.
Oh, I love this conversation about escorts on a Monday morning.
Listen, it is what it is. It's the best explanation I've heard for those who do not understand how why crude oil is actually traded below zero. But when you explain it like that, I thought that was pretty good.
Definitely. That makes sense.
Yeah. They got a lot of escorts in Kansas or what?
No, not a lot of escorts here.
Maybe not the one. Maybe you don't know about that stuff yet.
Yeah, that's also true.
There's got to be some shady business that you don't know about.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Listen, you stay away from that stuff. All right. You're a good kid. You stay away from those things. It's no good.
Thanks, JC. I will.
Talk to me, Sam. What's on the radar? We're entering the heart of earnings season here. We're just getting the ball rolling. Just a little amuse-bouche, a little appetizer, just kind of getting going. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that United Healthcare earnings reaction on, I believe that was Friday. Got absolutely blasted. One of their worst earnings reactions ever. I don't think anybody in the world likes United Health. So I don't think
Killed the
anybody's too
guy.
sad about that.
Jesus, they killed the damn guy. He's trying to do his job.
Yeah. No, the stock though, the stock can go to zero, and I don't think anybody will be too sad.
I mean, that would be pretty epic. But,
Aren't they like the largest provider?
There's probably some structural issues at play. They're probably like too big to fail, honestly.
Yeah, they are, and they're like the largest employer of doctors in the
Yeah.
United States. Not a lot of people know that, but like I think it's something like a third of all doctors in the United States are employed by United Health. So that's pretty interesting.
Wow.
I wanted to come on here and talk about the reaction score that we publish in every
Yes.
single beat report. Spencer, if you want to pull up that last slide, whatever
14?
number it
Is
is.
that the one? Yeah. All right.
So this was the day. What day was that? When Trump kind of pulled the reverse Uno card in the market.
That was the
rally.
9th? That was the 9th.
The 9th. Okay. So on
Right.
April 9th, the S&P was up 10.5%, which is a lot of standard deviations. That's a very, very big move.
How many
Oh
standard
no,
deviations was that?
that wasn't. I don't know what day that was. I don't know. Forget it.
That was, yeah, it was the 9th. You
Okay,
were right,
cool.
Spencer. So on that day, the S&P, let's pull up my standard deviation. So that was like almost a 9 standard deviation move for the S&P 500. And for you mathematicians out there, that shouldn't really happen very often. You know, that should be a once in a trillion years kind of event. But you know, those things happen all the time in the stock market because it's not efficient. And yeah, I think we all know that. So the S&P had like a 9 standard deviation move, and then the Delta Airlines had an 8 standard deviation move, and that is how it got a negative reaction scores because we're adjusting the earnings reaction of the stock for what the S&P 500 did. So like this was one of Delta Airlines' best earnings reactions ever. But it wasn't really alpha. It wasn't because of the earnings reaction. It was a beta thing. All of the airlines moved dramatically like that. Like I think the Jets ETF, which holds all of the airline stocks, was up close to 20%. United Airlines was up like 25%. So that is why we follow the reaction score so closely, is because it really gives us a better picture of how the market truly reacted to the earnings report. Because in absolute terms, if you were just looking at that, you would have thought this was an amazing report. But if you used our reaction score, you would have known that this report wasn't that exciting. And sure enough, there was no follow through on this move. The stocks just churned sideways since then. But if it was actually a good earnings report and it got the market excited, then I think you would have seen some follow through. And that's really what we're trying to accomplish here. And we're trying to see if the market truly does like the fundamental story.
So in this case, it went up because the whole market ripped. Is that what was going on?
Yeah, exactly, JC. Yeah. Yeah.
And then so can you explain to me why this is is it because it underperformed the rest of the market? How did that work? So alpha there?
So yeah, we're calculating the Z score of the last year. So it's basically standard deviations. So we're adjusting for that. So Delta Airlines had an 8 standard deviation move, while the S&P 500 had like a 9 standard deviation move. So there's that 1 point spread there. And that's really what we're looking for. Because like, you know, every instrument has a different volatility profile. You know, the S&P usually, you know, you can calculate it based on the VIX. So the standard deviation is constantly moving. But you know, what do you think, Steve? Am I explaining this right?
You are. So it's adjusted for beta and market performance at the end of the day, our reaction score. And I know it's working because on a day where Delta is popping on an earnings miss and the market's up 10%, Delta should be up 30.
Yeah.
beta of this stock. So you could see it was up 23.5% almost, but our earnings reaction score was negative because it takes into account the beta of the stock and what the market was doing that day, having one of its best days ever. Delta could have doubled.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. It really was not that impressive from the Delta Airlines. Yeah. I think it's kind of a good short here.
Shorting Delta, huh?
Yeah. You might be a little late. It was
Just
better.
seems like such a mess.
Yeah, it is a big mess. Yeah.
This thing went failed breakout a couple
Yeah,
months.
shorting that failed breakout really was the
That.
move.
I would have loved to have been short that.
Yeah.
We actually tried. We were dabbling with puts. I didn't really make any money on it.
Yeah, the failed breakout above the 19 highs.
Yeah, that was a good setup there. Sam, what are you watching this week for earnings?
Yeah, there's a lot of big reports. I think JC hinted at a few of them. There's some big industrials coming up early this week. I think like all of the big aerospace and defense stocks are reporting, like RTX. Here's the earnings calendar. This is very nice. Shout out Gene for putting this together. This is so sweet. Yeah, Elevance Health. I believe that's a Medicare Advantage stock. And one of the few pockets of relative strength during this recent market sell-off has been the Medicare Advantage stocks. They are just absolutely crushing it. I'm not really
Someone
sure
explain
about
to me what a Medicare Advantage is.
So, JC, you're still a young fella, so you're not quite on Medicare. You're gonna get there soon. Before
Is
you
there a
know it.
Medicare and a Medicaid?
Yeah, so
Is there a difference?
Yes.
there
big
very
difference.
much is a difference. Yes.
Am I the
so-
asshole because I don't know this stuff?
No,
Or is
no,
this
no.
something
No,
everybody
so
knows?
like Medicare is the healthcare for old people, essentially. I think there's a few other caveats.
I believe
to
they're
it,
called
but-
elderly.
Yeah, you can call them elderly, but if you're over 65 years old, you are eligible for Medicare. You pay into it your entire life, and yeah, so Medicare isn't great. So then these companies are coming in with Medicare Advantage, and you can pay a little bit of extra money, and you get these perks. You get like dental care and eye care and just random things like that, and maybe you have a lower deductible and yada yada yada. And then
And
there's
then
Medicaid.
what is the Medicaid?
So Medicaid is your children might be on Medicaid, and if you are below, I don't know what the poverty threshold is. If you make
basically-
like less than 40,000 a year or something, you
Yeah,
get Medicaid, no matter what your age is.
It's for low income Americans or people with disabilities or their families. I think also you can go on it if you're pregnant, I believe. And those are, I think, the three main buckets. It's low income, special needs, and pregnant women.
I agree with Sandra. 65 is not old. But this, Sandra, to be fair, Sam's like 12. So, like anything is older than him,
I think like the expected life in the United States is like, what is it, 75, 80?
Oh, okay.
Dude,
So
I'm
based
living
on that,
to
65
120.
is pretty old.
I'm here to 120. You guys better
Hey,
get used
I
to
am
me,
too,
bro.
JC, but not everybody's like us.
$120. Watch me.
I feel pretty middle aged.
Yeah, because you're not doing legs. Playing golf is not working out.
Yeah, you're a golf cart kind of guy too, Steve, aren't you?
Also true.
You're not out on the course with me. You don't know if I'm walking or not.
Dude,
Pretty sure you've told me that before.
Strazza sweats too
No
much.
way am I gonna walk.
Sweats too much. You can't even hold the damn club.
I wouldn't walk a course in perfect weather, but that's just me.
You know that Sam's like a scratch? Did you know that, Steve?
Gotta say it.
Yeah, not anymore, JC. I told you I was in another life, but I haven't
Another
even golfed
life.
yet
You're
this
12.
year.
When were you a scratch?
You're not old enough to get worse.
Yeah.
You're
I
not there
haven't
yet.
golfed in like a year. I need some practice, but I definitely could get there again.
Dude, if I were a scratch golfer, I'd be playing every day. I'd be like, yo, you guys want to play golf and watch me just crush it? But I'm the opposite of that.
Yeah, shout out aerobics, shout out legs day, shout out cart golf.
I'm skipping legs day today because I'm still sore from last week.
So you're middle aged too.
Dude, I'm struggling. I don't know what the hell she was having me do. I'm dying over here. My leg is killing me.
All right. Listen, Sam wrote a nice little post about explaining the reaction score on the site. I dropped it in the chat. That's for the beat report. If you don't get the beat report, you really want to be getting it now. It is free for the moment. It is free. I'll drop the link in chat. Oh wait, I'm not sharing my screen.
Your life has gone horribly wrong if you're not getting the beat report.
So I'm gonna drop the link in chat. Right. You want it, this? It comes. It's gonna be coming out every day for the next. Well, it comes out every day when there's earnings, right? So you can imagine that's gonna be a lot for the next month or so, right? So they're gonna be talking about these reports, but also the reaction to these reports. Get the beat report. Link in chat here. I'll pin it. I'll pin it to the top. There it is. It is now pinned to the top of this chat on YouTube. And there we go. Get it. Got it. Good.
Thank you, Spencer.
Thank you, Sam.
Thanks, buddy.
All right.
Shout out beat report.
You know, I want to give a shout out to Bill. You know, we give the Florida Gators a lot of shit around here because they really are the scum of the earth. But you know, their basketball team, well-deserved national champion. So I just want to give a shout out to Bill. You know, we break balls around here. But you know, credit where credit's due. They came back, they got it done. So big ups to the Gators. Never thought I'd say that, but you know, credit where it's due. Credit where it's due.
I was happy to see them win.
I was not, but you know, whatever.
Wait, can we just talk about Bitcoin for a second? I swear I was gonna put it in Slack yesterday, but I didn't because I was sitting at my desk and I was gonna ask, when is the last time Bitcoin had like a, I don't know, 8 or 9 or 10 day range that was that tight? And of course it's now blasted off way above that.
My question last week was whether or not it was bull flagging, right? On that short time horizon, like basically what you're describing, Spencer.
It was super tight.
Yeah.
For like a week and a half.
Yeah.
Honestly, volatility's been compressing since right after the election run. It was tight even in that top, and then it took a step lower and stayed tight. Yeah.
Is this a real breakout, you think, or this is a fugazi?
I think Bitcoin's going. I think Bitcoin's
going to go.
And I think stocks will follow it too. I'm looking for red to green today. I'm looking for some nice bull golfers, right? Let's open up down here where the futures are now. Let's engulf the last 4 days of price action. That kicks us off for a good week. Look for that today. Look for these engulfing candles. I think you're going to get some.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Shout out to Hertz, which is giving back some of those gains from Friday, or was it Thursday? I don't remember anymore. I think it was Thursday.
Not much else moving outside of Hertz this morning. Nvidia's down a little bit. Huawei is about to ship chips that apparently rival the Nvidia's H100s. Reddit is down apparently on insider stock sales, maybe. Tesla down a little bit on this talk of postponing the cheaper Model Y. Outside of that, I mean, you got some credit card companies moving on.
Risk arb traders, your Discover Capital One deal is gonna go through. So there's a ratio there. Those things are traded. They trade in lockstep because Discover is Capital One is paying for Discover with stock, right? So it's a stock deal. So
they trade in lockstep because there are portfolio management teams at hedge funds all around the world who just do this.
Yeah,
like absolute experts at M&A arbitrage.
Yep.
I like that Reddit's getting killed. You know, I got my ear to the ground. I hear things, and people tried to be like, "Oh, we're going to be the next Reddit." All right, good. I don't know why you'd want to do that. It's a horrible place, and so the stock is acting accordingly. So, any of you guys trying to emulate Reddit and think that your business model is Reddit, well, fuck you.
I don't know why it went to 230 in the free. It doesn't have to be a reason, right? It probably should never have been up there, but.
The crazy bull thesis was they're going to sell their data to all the AI folks, and it's incredibly valuable.
All right.
I'm just telling you. I'm just a messenger. That was the story when it was ripping.
I mean,
I just can't get into it. I just can't get into the Reddit. I tried. Oh, it makes Twitter look like a great place.
You're better off for it. You're better off for it.
Strazza uses it for his turtles, right, Strazza?
And I'm dabbling more and more for other things. You know, I'm finding other stuff. I'm spending more time on the app.
Why don't you use AI?
I do.
Isn't AI better than Reddit?
Yeah, but you can't. I can't ask my AI like, why is my turtle shedding his skin? What does this mean? Like, I could find somebody who had that problem, showed a picture on Reddit, and is like, oh, he's growing. That's healthy.
Yeah, if I wanted opinions, I would still go to Reddit first.
Really?
If I wanted like the other day or the weekend I was researching like futons or sofa beds. Yeah, I would go on Reddit and I did and look for like reviews on futons and sofa beds. Right.
The stuff there is just detailed. It's super detailed. These forums.
Yeah.
So it's funky. It's okay. There's a place for it. I think on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
I get yours. I get what your point is. I don't think other companies are better.
I know Strazza's got some turtle recess.
Is that true?
Is that true?
Is that true? Is that fake news, or do we have actual turtle recess?
We do.
Shall we?
Oh boy.
You ready for it? You want it?
I'm as ready as I'm going to be for your turtles. Is this Myrtle the turtle?
No, but Myrtle I thought was lonely. He's so tiny and he's got this big tank now, and he just seems so comfortable. He's thriving in there. And I've been on the Reddit forums and I see how other people have like 2 turtles because they need that companionship. I think it's nice. So I went with the idea of getting one. I met this guy and he's like, the store's closed, but follow me to this warehouse. I swear to God. And I followed him and he's got it in like a storage unit, 300, 400 reptiles in a room. Some of the craziest things I've ever seen. Like baby, I'm telling you, the Euromastix is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Google it. But anyway, I just want to show pictures of my 2 new buddies. So I got a albino red-eared slider. This one is, I guess, it doesn't come from nature. It probably comes from a lab somewhere near the Everglades. Do we have that picture?
Oh, I didn't realize they were in here. My bad.
Sorry.
Yeah. 1 second.
And then, so that's, yeah. So I have a red-eared slider. I found him in my yard. So now this is the same species, but it's made in the lab to be white like a ghost. I mean, they had gold ones too. They look like gold coins. This is a caramel albino. That's because its shell is kind of like browned on top. So it's super cool. His eyes, he looks like an alien. And he's getting used to it now. As soon as I put him in, Myrtle took a big chunk out of his head, but it's going to grow back really fast. The reptiles will probably be healed by tomorrow. He was just checking him out. Probably thought he was food because he's slightly smaller. If you are going to put turtles in the same terrarium, you just have to make sure they're about the same size. You don't want one turtle eating another turtle. And so that's Vincent. That's Vincent, the albino red-eared slider. And, so this one. You
named your turtle Vincent?
That's Vincent. And so now this, so this is a side neck turtle. It has a very, very long neck, almost looks like a snake, crazy. And it's from South America, somewhere in South America. So that's super neat. He's really, really active, really, really aggressive. That's Jules. So now we got Vincent and Jules and Myrtle. So what?
Where do you get these names?
From Pulp Fiction.
Is that what it is?
Is that what it is? The only thing you're missing is a Marvin.
No, we already have a Myrtle. Myrtle's going to have to be Marvin.
Myrtle the turtle. And are you getting like males and females? Like, how does that work?
I didn't ask, but I was wondering the whole time. I'm going to have to text them and ask. I'm not sure. But they can't have babies because that's a whole nesting process and the tank isn't set up for it, right? Turtles got to go and lay the babies in some dirt or sand, and the terrariums are not set up for that. So I'm not here to mate turtles, you know.
Are these full size? How big do they get?
They're like this big. They're tiny.
Oh, okay.
And they grow very slowly, and they'll probably outlive me. So we'll have to figure that out one day.
Yeah, you might.
It's dinosaurs. They'll live forever.
So Florida man stuff. I want to give a shout out to Easter. Underrated holiday. Underrated. And I'm at fault for this as well. I'm more of a Thanksgiving guy traditionally. But my daughter really, really likes Easter because as she's been growing up, like the Easter bunny's way less creepy than Santa Claus. Like, you know, old hairy guy, right? So like she likes taking pictures with the bunny better, always has. So Easter's her favorite holiday. So like we played along. I got to tell you, 4-year-olds was right all along. Easter, better food, better weather, no football. That's the only bummer versus Thanksgiving, but better weather, better food. But then you got baseball, you got basketball. Sometimes you have golf. I know for non-Cubans, hockey is a big deal. You got that too, right? So a shout out Easter. Seriously.
Easter's great. And it's some of my favorite food. Holiday food.
Yeah, definitely. You got to stay away from the ham. I don't know why all these gringos go with the ham.
I like
There's
the ham.
better things.
I like the ham more than the turkey, but Italians will do a frittata on Easter, and that's just one of my absolute favorite things in the world.
Dude, you gotta go. You gotta go ribeye roast, bro.
Look, we went out to like a pizza restaurant yesterday, New Haven style pizza, because I had to get on the road early, and it was lovely. It was exactly what I wanted.
All right.
Some Connecticut pizza for the road.
God. Oh, I had a question for you. Somebody told me the other day the best pizza in Connecticut is in Hartford. Is that true?
I wouldn't know where in Hartford. I would think
I don't go there. I'm never gonna go there.
Most people say New Haven. I'm a little bit in the unpopular camp. I say Stamford, but it's hard to miss. There's a place. It's called Fantini's in Stuart, Florida. The man worked at Pepe's forever, and then he moved down, and it's the same thing. It's so good, so good. So you're literally getting New Haven style pizza. He's even got all the brands from like New Haven, like the local sodas, Hummel hot dogs, all that stuff. He tried to make it as New Haven as possible, and we appreciate that.
All right, so taking the under on Hartford there.
I would say yeah.
All right,
New Haven's good.
I wouldn't know. I'm never gonna go there.
You don't want to drive more north than you have to in Connecticut.
Yeah. Don't veer too far off of 95. You know, maybe the Merritt. You know, and that's
New York. I think is
great rule. Yeah,
that's a shady state for sure.
You do want to be as close to New York as possible.
Yeah. All right. Cool. It is 9:33. We're gonna get out of here. We have chart requests live. CRL 1 o'clock today. Send in your requests. Questions at stockmarketmedia.com. The guys will answer them as many as they can on the show. Gold Rush members, you're getting your video this week or today as well. And that's what I got. So thank you for watching. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Kenny. We'll be back tomorrow with a one John Roque, JC.
Wow, tomorrow, John Roque in the house.
John Roque in the house.
Wow, who's better than us? Come on. John Roque tomorrow? That's sick.
That's the plan.
Nice.
Thank you for watching. Again, check out the Beat Report. The link is in chat. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Go make some money, all right?
Look for the golfers today.
Happy Monday.
The golfers.
Golfers?
The golfers.
Okay.
I can't take no loss.